Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Tonight I have a juicy story time for you guys, and it is what you guys have been requesting. Why me and my high school sweetheart did not work out. We actually started dating our last year of middle school and then went on to high school, and the relationship started basically, right? So we were together for 5 years, okay? I think maybe 5 years and a half, around there. Which explains why I was single for 6 years. And let me make this clear, because some of y'all are like, were you really like not talking to anyone for 6 years? Of course I was dating. I was just not in a committed relationship for the past 6 years until now. Obviously my last relationships were really lessons learned for me, which is why I stayed single for so long. I just wanted to enjoy my freedom and enjoy just being me, finding myself without being in a relationship, because that's all I knew, being in a relationship. And not just that, I do have a great father figure. My dad is an amazing role model. He treats my mom like a queen. So you know, it's the past relationships that molded me to the person I am today, and then just learning and seeing and observing the relationship my parents have, and just making sure that I got what I deserved. Besides the point, so I was in a relationship for those 5 years. We had our little breaks in between. So by the way, it took me, when I told my parents, I did cry, because I am Mexican, and to tell your parents at age, I was 13 going on 14, that I had to tell them that I had a boyfriend was really hard for me, because they would always tell me if I had a boyfriend before turning 15, I would not have a quinceañera, and that would make me so sad. So that was my fear when I told them, but they were very understanding when I told them. They were glad that I wasn't hiding it, that I wasn't, just keeping it behind their back, and I was honest about it, even though it took me about 3 months to let it out. But I just wanted to make sure that it was something serious before I introduced him to my parents. But anyway, so let's get to when it started going downhill. So I met him in middle school. We were classmates. We started flirting, we started getting along, chemistry started coming in, and voila, we became boyfriend and girlfriend, and we were happy. And then we went off to high school. He was a basketball player, and then he ended up breaking up with me at 9 months. We were 9 months in, and you guys, I had fallen for this guy deeply. He was my first real boyfriend. I think before him I had a boyfriend for like 3 days, which was in 7th grade, but that doesn't even count. When he broke up with me at 9 months, it broke my heart, and he did tell me that it was because he wanted to focus in basketball, because he was actually really good at basketball. He loved it with all his heart, and I understood that. But to me, it happened at a time that I was like, no, this is not the reason he's breaking up with me. He started going to a church, which he wasn't going to before. He started going to this church where they had they would meet every Wednesday. It was like a Christian church. And we were raised Catholics, okay, so this was already different. He was going to this Christian church, and he met girls there, and the group was all teens our age. So I never went to it, but he would talk about 2 girls that he got along with really well. One of them, I don't know, I just felt like there's something going on there. So when he started going to this is when he broke up with me, and I was like, and I had a gut feeling like there's something else going on. There's another reason why he broke up with me. And I'm over here thinking, well, it must be because he's talking to this girl. But of course he would deny it. I was devastated. I would cry. I would call him. I would cry to him and tell him not to leave me, that he was my everything. And this is my first relationship. So when him being the first one that broke up with me, it really broke me. I was really going through it. And then we ended up getting back together. He told me that there was nothing that had gone on between him and that girl. Later on, it turns out that there was something between him and that girl. And the way I found out is because when I took him back, I talked to him, and I was like, look, I'm not gonna get mad at you. Just tell me the truth, please. I need to know, because there was rumors. And the thing is that by the time we hit 10th grade, we went to a really small school. We were transferred to a school that was in our neighborhood because it was new. And it was a small school, so rumors would spread out like crazy because it was not so many of us. I told him, like, can you please just tell me the truth? Just tell me, you know, if you went out with her. I promise I'm not gonna get mad at you. It's in the past. Like, I just want to know the truth. And then he tells me the truth. He tells me that he was talking to this girl and that they were in a relationship. And I was mad. I was like, you know what, I can't do this. And he was like, you said you would understand. And I was like, I can't do this. I can't believe you did that to me. Because to him, this is not for you to talk to other guys or anything like that. We're just taking space apart. But he would do the opposite. He would go talk to girls. And I feel like the times he would break up with me was because he was talking to other girls. Of course, he never wanted to admit to that. But this one, he did admit to it. And what did I do? I still ended up getting back with him. He told me he was sorry, that he really wanted to be with me, that he was going to change. We went into high school, and then there's a lot of things that happen, okay, in this relationship, but I'm not going to have the time to tell you every little thing that happened in this relationship that went wrong. Of course, we had our happy moments. His family got along with my family. We would go out to dinner. He was great with my family, but at the end of the day, the bad ended up overcoming the good, you know. So I think it was our junior year, and I'm gonna just focus on the main things that happened. Our junior year came, and there was rumors that he was talking to the scorekeeper, which was a girl, and I didn't want to believe it. I was like, they're just rumors, you know, people are just trying to break us up or whatever. And then I kept hearing them, and I kept hearing that they would see them walking around in between classes, 2 classes, and I would just brush it off, because he would be like, no, there's nothing going on. I did confront him about it. He's like, there's nothing going on. It was more of a, you know, you're not even seeing it, you don't have proof. So I didn't have proof until my best friend came to me one day, and she told me that she saw them. And I was like, my best friend till this day is my best friend, okay? We've been best friends already for, I think, 15 years. At that time, I had met her in middle school as well, but I knew her before him. And she came to me, she's like, look, Judith, I know you've been hearing this, but just want to tell you that I saw it. I saw him with that girl, and that's when I was like, okay, it has to be true. My best friend would not lie to me. And for it to be more than one person telling you, then I'm over there looking like an idiot, you know? So then that happened, and I called him after school because I think he was going to stay for practice or something. So I called him, and I was like, look, I feel like you're not being honest with me. You're lying to me. You're talking to this girl while you're still with me. Like, we should break up. And he was like, okay, let's break up without a fight. Just like, well, believe what you want to believe. So I saw that as, okay, well, it has to be true. So we broke up. 3 weeks later, we're still in school. We're getting ready to go to winter break, and then 2 of my close friends come to me. I remember it was during lunchtime. And this was back then when MySpace existed, when MySpace was like our Facebook or Instagram. And they had noticed that he had put that he was in a relationship with this girl. Let's call her Savannah. So he was in a relationship with Savannah now, 3 weeks after I broke up with him, after he was telling me that there's nothing going on. Obviously, if they went out after 3 weeks, if he made it official after 3 weeks, there was something going on, clearly. And of course, I was mad, I was hurt, but he would still text me, he would still call me, he would tell me that he loved me, that we were gonna be together, that we were meant to be. He would tell me that it wasn't true, that he wasn't in a relationship. He would lie to me, basically. And then we had winter ball or winter formal, something like that, and we weren't together yet. So he had asked me who I was gonna go with. At that time, I was gonna go with my best friend and a couple of our girlfriends. And then he told me that he hadn't gotten a ticket, but that he was probably going to crash with his guy friends, his basketball buddies. So I get there, and who's the first person I see? Savannah. It looked like she was waiting for someone, so I was like, oh my god, it better not be him. I swear, let's call my ex Caesar. I was like, it better not be Caesar. I don't know what I was doing at the front, and then he walks in and he goes straight to her, doesn't acknowledge me, he just goes straight to her. And I was like, wow, okay. And his mom actually dropped him off, so his mom actually stayed talking to me, and we're talking there for a while he was over there with his new girlfriend. And I was there talking to the mom like, that's right, look at us, I have a good bond with his mom, you know. I was just being like trying to prove that I was the better one or whatever, but it was so dumb. I think it's so easy for a lot of us to blame the girl instead of blaming the problem, which is the guy, you know. And obviously I didn't know that then, and at the time I just thought that she knew that she broke our relationship up, and later on it turned out that she didn't even know. So then winter formal happened. So the last dance was like a romantic song. They were like dancing forehead to forehead, and he was singing to her, and I was so heartbroken at the time. I was just like, wow, like the nerve that he has. I'm like, I'm right here and he's really doing that shit in front of me. And by that time I had already been with him for a couple of years, so that was fucked up. But that night, one of his friends actually ended up asking me to dance that last song too, and I danced. I was like, whatever, he has a girlfriend, like who cares. Tell me why he calls me talking shit to me, saying, how could you do this to me? That's my friend, why would you even dance with him, blah blah blah. Like, what am I gonna tell my parents, and what am I gonna tell my friends? And I was like, you're in a relationship. You said you were gonna come with your guy friends, and you're here with that girl. Like, you're no one to talk to. I remember my best friend was next to me, and I was just like, this guy's freaking ridiculous right now. It's so crazy. And so that happened, and he would still call me and text me, and I would take his calls and his texts. I wasn't wise back then. I was dumb and in love, that young love, you know. So then that happened, and he was like, look, we're gonna work it out, we're gonna make it through. Valentine's Day came, you guys. This is probably like the most shady thing that he did. I feel like it was just like embarrassing. Like, I felt embarrassed when I found out. So Valentine's Day came. According to him, he was not with the girl anymore, so they had broken up. He was trying to fix things with me, and then but he said that he wasn't feeling good that day, that he wasn't gonna go to school. So that day when I went to school, when I was walking out, I saw that I had roses, and I had a cute little bunny there. I think it was a bunny, and I think chocolates, I'm not sure, but for sure flowers and the little bunny. So I took it to school because I was like, I'm gonna go show this off, you know. I took it with me to school. I get there, and I was like walking around with it, feeling all special. And then I think it was, I want to say first or second period, I don't remember. But then my friends tell me, they were like, they asked me like, oh, who got that for you, you know. And then I told them, oh, Caesar did. We're working things out, you know, yo de mensa, looking like a straight out freaking idiot. And they tell me that they had seen the girl, his I don't even know what to call her, because I don't know what she was at the time. Like, they were probably still together. His ex, that she was walking around with the same things that he gave me, except that the rabbit, I think, the bunny, was a different color, but she had the same flowers, just a different bunny. So just think of how dumb I looked when I found out that. And I was over there walking around like trying to see, because I wanted to see it myself, but unfortunately I didn't find her that day. And then I asked him, and he was like, no, why would I do that? But he told me he wasn't feeling good. I heard that he went to school to visit the coach, and then that's when he went to go give her stuff at school. And then I guess he went home so he wouldn't have to be there and deal with the both of us. But I didn't have proof, so I think I stuck through with him. There's this post that I've seen that said, every time you forgive him, he'll love you more. But every time you forgive him, you'll start loving him less. And I feel like that's exactly what happened in this relationship, because I kept forgiving him for all the things that he would do to me. And little by little, I started seeing the person that he was, and I started telling myself that I deserved better, that I didn't deserve any guy to treat me like that. So when that happened, I stuck through, and then other things would happen. And then one time, so I ended up going, so that friend that he played basketball with, they weren't best friends, but they were friends, they were teammates. And he had a thing for me, and he started telling me things about him that I was like, how does he know this about? He would legit tell me intimate things that me and my ex would do. And at first I was like, he is just trying to put things in my head because he has a thing for me. I felt like he was like probably trying to get me to hate Caesar, that way I would go with him. But I was like, that why would he still know my intimate things, like our intimate things in our relationship, things I would do with him? Like, how? Me and that guy, let me call him Henry, we ended up getting really close. And then he me and Caesar were done for a while. He was with his girl. I would see him holding hands and everything with her. Henry was like, you know what, give me a try, I can treat you right. And I was just like, no, I just didn't feel anything for this person, right? But we just had a really good relationship. We ended up having a great friendship, and I didn't want to ruin that. And he was like, please just give me a chance. So he was like, give me a chance, give me 1 week and I'll prove it to you. So I was like, I'll give you 1 week. I gave it a week and I was like, I can't do this. So it was nothing. That relationship was nothing. I think we kissed like once, and it was like a peck, because I was like, I'm not feeling it, you know? So my ex ended up finding out about it, and he went crazy. He went crazy. I remember that time I was in cheer, and I think we had a substitute at that time. So we were upstairs just watching, I think, Bring It On movies, and I don't know if one of my friends calls me and tells me that he knew, and I was like, he knows what? And he's like, oh, like you and Henry went out and he's looking for him and he wants to fight him. So I went downstairs, and as I was walking downstairs, Caesar, my ex, starts going upstairs. Caesar, my high school sweetheart, he starts going upstairs, and he gives me the deadliest look. Like, he was furious, and I was like, oh my god, he does know. So I'm over there like calling Henry, and like, Henry, you need to like leave. He knows he's gonna try to fight you. He finds him outside, and then yeah, he was trying to fight him. I was over there crying because I was like, why are you doing this? You know, he was legit in a relationship trying to fight this guy because he was like in something with me, and I was like, this is so dumb. So Henry was like, I'm not gonna fight you, I'm not gonna fight you, this is dumb. So he ended up leaving, and then after that he called me. Caesar, my high school sweetheart, he calls me and he was like, how could you do this to me after everything we've been through? And I was like, what do you mean? You're the one that's in a relationship and you're over here coming at me with that. And then he tells me that he was gonna leave her, that he wanted me, and that he was sorry for everything he put me through. And I was like, I'm not gonna go back to this. I'm not, like, not again. And I went back to it again because he ended up telling me that he was gonna change, and me just having that hope of, okay, well, it's gonna work out. We're gonna make it through. We hung up that night, and then he called me the next morning. He was like, how are you doing? Blah blah blah. And then I was like, so you're gonna break up with her? And he was like, you have to give me time. I can't just do it from one day to another. I can't hurt her like that. And I was like, wow. So you're telling me you can hurt me the way you've been hurting me, but you can't hurt her, when according to you, it's not even anything serious? And he was like, I can't, like, just give me time, please give me time. And I was like, I'm not. It got so bad that I'm not gonna say exactly what happened because it's too personal, but I ended up at his coach's office, his basketball coach's office. I was crying, and then he showed up, and then the coach made it seem like I'm over here trying to like steal this guy, like I only want him for me, when I'm over here like, no, we're not gonna be together. His coach sits me down and he talks to us. He tells me that I needed to let them be, that I needed to let him be in the relationship he was at the moment, and that if me and him were meant to be, we would find each other later on. So I didn't say anything. I was just like, I was heated. I didn't say anything. I walked out pissed off. And then one of my friends came after me, and he was like, just hear him out. And I was like, no, this is BS. Like, the coach is over here making it seem like it's my fault when it's him. Like, he's the one hurting me. And then that happened. It was crazy, and we talked. I stayed with him because I was dumb, I was stupid, I was an idiot, I was mensa, but I was young, you guys. You learn from your own mistakes. So after that, we were working it out. We got closer to graduating, so we were in good terms, and I felt like things were finally turning. But by that time, I felt like what I felt before was not there anymore for him. So we graduated, and there was a lot of jealousy in our relationship. There was no trust in our relationship because of everything that happened. And I would rarely go out with my friends because I was always with him all the time. It was just him. And this one time I decided to go to my friends for a birthday dinner. This was after high school. Shortly after high school, we went out for a birthday dinner, and he was calling me. He kept calling me after I had told him who I was going to be with. And there was never a reason for him not to trust me, you guys. I promise, like, I am such a loyal person when I'm in a relationship. I make sure that I give you my all. That way, when we split up, at the end of the relationship, it's you hurting and not me, because at least I can walk away and know that I gave it my all. I've been hurt, I've been cheated on, and I never seek revenge. I end it, and then I'm like, who's gonna suffer at the end of this? You are, not me. Then when he started doing that, I was like, I can't even go to dinner without him calling me and being like, who are you with? I literally told him like 3 times that day who I was with, because he was like, well, what if someone new showed up? He called me at different times, and he was like, well, what if someone new showed up? Like, are you sure you're still there? Blah, blah, blah. So after that was kind of like the last call that I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I remember I was texting with my best friend, and I was like, I can't be in this relationship. I don't know how to end it, but I can't. And she was like, look, I support you. Do what you gotta do. If you're not happy, you know, then it's time for you to move on. So that's exactly what I did. I was like, I finally chose me over him. I was finally selfish enough to choose my happiness over him, because I was suffering for so long, and he was putting me through a lot of things that I feel like, yes, now he regrets them. Well, a couple years later he regretted them, and he would tell me, but it was too late. It was already too late. And when I broke up with him, I broke up with him, so I didn't even know how to tell him. But that day we were gonna go to eat or something, so he picked me up, we went back to his place, and then we were like just chilling at his parents' place, and he could tell that something was wrong with me, and I was like, there's nothing wrong. I just didn't know how to say it. I was like, how am I gonna break up this 5-year relationship, you know? He ended up saying, is it because you want to break up? Is that why you're being like this? And I just like nodded my head, and I said yes. And he was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna beg you this time, let me take you home. So he takes me home, and I was like, okay, he took it easier than I expected, but I spoke too soon. He ended up calling me, and he was like, how could you do this to us? We were doing fine. Like, why would you end this? We're supposed to be together forever. We're supposed to be together forever. We're meant to be. He would always say that we were meant to be, and that no matter what, we were gonna find each other, whether it was then or like later, you know? So after that, I think what did it for me is that he really wanted me in this relationship so bad that it got to the point where, obviously we were together for a really long time, so of course I lost it to him. I lost my virginity to him. He was my first kiss, my first real relationship, and because we were intimate with each other, he did have pictures of me that were exposing. I'm saying TMI right now, but this is what happened, and this is what I went through, and it was hell. And I was just like, wow, like, how low can you go, you know? Like, how low can you go? Just kidding. This is serious. To me, it was like, I couldn't believe it. I remember crying because he ended up telling me when I broke up with him that if I didn't get back with him, he was gonna share those pictures that he had of me. And I was like, oh my god. My first thought was my parents. Like, my parents are gonna see these pictures of me. Oh my god, my family's gonna see these pictures of me. And I was crying. I was like, don't do that to me, please. And so I didn't talk to him. I was freaking out. I told my best friend, and I was freaking out. And then we ended up just coming to a conclusion that I was like, you know what? I told him, I'm like, do whatever you want with those pictures, because I'm not gonna look like the bad person here. You were with me for 5 years, so there's a reason why you have those pictures of me. The reason that I trusted you and now you're trying to expose me like that, I was like, no, that's not gonna happen. So I was like, you can do whatever you want with those pictures, but I was like, just know if they are in doubt, I'm gonna report you, and I'm gonna call the cops and make sure that there's justice for this, because you're not gonna expose me like that. So that happened. And after that, I think the day after, I don't know if it was a day or two after, he called me and he apologized, and he was like, I'm sorry, I would not do that to you. It's just I didn't know what to do at the moment. Like, it was like a desperate call. Like he didn't want to lose me, you know. And I get it. Like, we're in a place where we're like, okay, we're gonna work it out. And out of nowhere, I was like, not out of nowhere, but you know, it so much happened that I was like, it's time for me to be free with that one. It was just like, I couldn't trust anyone, and also I just knew I deserved better. So if someone came across it, I was like, you're not treating me right, I'd be like, deuces, I'm not gonna put up with that. So that's how our relationship ended. So after that, I kept it cool with him. I still keep it cool with my exes. There's no bad blood. I think it's because I was able to walk out of the relationship, but when I needed to, it was in that we had a bad breakup. After we broke up, we still would go out a couple times, but I would tell him, like, we're not gonna get back together, we're just as friends. He'd be like, okay, cool, let's just, like, we can't just like end the 5 years that we're together just like that, right? So, but then he would say that would bring his hopes up, because he thought that I was trying to get back with him, and I was like, no, I was pretty clear on that. And then one time he called me and he was like, I know we're meant to be, and I was just like, I don't see a future with you anymore. Like, you're not in my, I don't see you in my future. And he was like, yes, we're gonna get married one day, like, it's gonna happen. And I was like, no. And then he paused and he was like, wait, did you just say that you don't see me in your future? And I was like, yes, I just said that. Like, I've been trying to tell you, like, there's no future with us anymore. And that's when he was like, oh, okay. And then we hung up, and he kind of left me alone for a while. And then after that, we went out. A couple years later, after me and my other ex didn't work out, we went out. I think it was for my birthday. I had celebrated that whole weekend, and then the day of my actual birthday, which I think was on a Sunday, everyone had to work the next day, so I was kind of like solo. My mom had made me food, and then everyone went to bed early. And he had texted me, he's like, oh, let's go out for some drinks, like, and I was like, no, because, you know, every time we go out, you think something's gonna happen, and it's not gonna happen. He was like, no, nothing's gonna happen, just as friends. We went a few drinks in, he started bringing up that we were older now, that never gave him a chance. And I was like, I gave you multiple chances, but he says that he doesn't count those because he was young and dumb, and now he was an adult, which I get it. We grow up and we change, but I was like, no, it's not there anymore. It's not gonna happen. So I was like, you know what, I gotta go home. I gotta go home. This is not gonna happen. So I went home, and that was it. After that, we kept it cool. Like, it's hey, what's up, how you been? I think, you know, because he was a big part of my life, it's not someone that I would just eliminate like that, because I know on my end there's nothing's gonna happen. I know that there was no way I would get back with him. Even when I told my mom that he had a kid, my mom was so sad, because my mom had a great relationship with him and she loved him, because she didn't know the things that he did to me. And I wouldn't tell her, and I wouldn't tell my family, only my sister. My sister hates him, like, she hates him. My mom had a great relationship with him, and when I told her that he was gonna have his first baby, she was so sad. She was like, Mija, like, are you okay? She thought I was her, and I was like, Mom, why would I be sad? Like, I'm happy for him. And she was like, no, doesn't it make you sad that later on when you guys work things out, you're gonna have to deal with someone else's kid now when it could have been yours? And I was like, Mom, if anything, I'm freaking happy, because now, like, I know that he'll move on. Like, I know that it's done. And she was like, ay, mija, like, pobrecita. Like, it was like my mom was in the relationship with him. But now that she knows, she's like, okay, I see why you broke up with him. So yeah, that's the story. That's how it ended. Let me know if you guys like this video, if you guys would like to see more story times like this, or just any suggestions you have, just go ahead and drop them down below. I will see you guys on my next video. Thank you for watching. Love you guys.